Okay, hello everyone. Kai here again, taking the mic back over. Brandon's here on the bass now because we're going to do some bass tutorials because, you bass players don't know how to get a good tone. So let's teach you. Right.
It's always the bass players.
It's always the bass players. Okay, so we're on a fresh set here. So we've got the 35C. So obviously we've got these two that we just did. So pressing on the parameter to go to our wonderful interface here. So obviously you guys are going to want an amp, aren't you? So if you remember from last time, we double press to turn it on. And now we're going to scroll on down to the bass section.
Ooh. I like a bit of bass section.
Here we go. Right, so we've got quite a few choices here. So we've got Classic, Foxy, Messer, Mini, and Bass Pre. So, which one would you like, Brandon? What sort of tone are you looking for?
I don't know. Let's just go for a really nice, clean bass.
Really
tone.
nice,
so
clean bass
if we have a look at the classic bass, maybe.
Cool. So we've got the classic bass on first. So that's our pre, essentially, our amp. And obviously we're going to need a cab. So we turn the cab on. And now we're
So if you just have a quick look there, it's already defaulted it to an Ampeg cab. So that's obviously your bass. Ampeg is bass.
Yeah. Ampeg is essentially one of the biggest bass cabs and amps. So if you don't really know what you're looking for, probably just go with Ampeg because it'll be the easiest to manipulate to what you want it to be. So let's try it with this Ampeg 2 now. Sounds great already.
Very nice. This is Barney, everybody.
Okay, so as you can see, we've got the Ampeg cab on. Brandon's just done a nice little lick, and that sounds great. But now we've got a couple of extra things that we can add to make it sound a little bit better. So one of the first things will be a compressor. So we're going to move over to our pre section. Here we go. Activate that one by pressing it twice. So we've got a compressor is the first one that comes up. So see how that sounds.
So as you can hear, that sort of smooths out all the quieter stuff and the louder stuff, and it makes it less sort of like
100%. Personally, I don't really like the sound of that compression. I am a little bit more for the S comp. Because it's just got a much fuller sound to it, I think, and you've got more control as well over what you want to do. Now, obviously, we won't go into all the settings that you can do for compressors and amps and everything like that, but feel free to do your own research on that.
So it has got it all here.
Yeah, it has got it all here. And also, I'd just like to deviate your attention to these two dots here. So these two dots are your pages, essentially. So there are more controls to this compressor. And by pressing the parameter again, you open up to those new options. So you've got more here. So you've got tone. So if we were to crank the tone up,
I like that.
way more high end to
That's
it.
really nice.
And if we were to turn it all the way down, we lose loads of that high end.
Yeah.
So Brandon quite liked it high. So
I quite
let's
liked
leave
it all
quite
the way
high.
up, actually. I quite
Sounds
like
good.
that treble, that high end on a bass. That's my preference.
Definitely. And it will cut better as well with that.
Yeah.
Right. So we've got a fairly basic sound going on. We'll just have a quick touch on the EQ. So press EQ. It's lit up. So we've got a couple of different EQs to choose from here, but we're playing bass. So we want to make sure that we're on the bass EQ1 or bass EQ2. So for now, let's just stick with bass EQ1 because it's got slightly higher values. So 33 hertz, you are basically never going to be using this. That's like kick drum territory or sub bass territory. And unless you're tuning very low or running anything into this, you're not going to be using that. So we can definitely take some out to make some room for the kick drum. 150 hertz is going to be your very strong sweet spot. So that will be your low end. So we'll crank that up a little bit. Nice. So now we've got 600 hertz. So 600 hertz is kind of like your thump almost. So if you're playing with your thumb or your fingers, then it'll come through a lot more if you were to turn that up. And if I was to turn it all the way down,
so that's a lot smoother sounding.
a lot smoother. And I personally like that smoother sound. How do you feel about that?
See, I'm quite different. I like a really
thumpy.
I like a bass tone that cuts through. I like to be able to hear the bass, so that you know, when you've got that thump, that sort of like bow, that bow bow, and you know, your clangy sort of. I like hearing all of that.
Cool. Let's leave some in.
It's just preference again. That's all it is.
These tutorials are for you to have the tools to go and check out stuff. You know, this isn't how to build a tone. Well, it is how to build a tone. This isn't how you should have your tone. This is how you should be able to figure out how to get your tone. Yeah. So 2K is kind of, it's usually a guitar frequency. So with my bass tones, I would take a lot of that out to leave room for the guitars. Brandon might think differently. So let's turn it all the way off to begin with. Cool. And let's turn it all the way up. See, I feel like a lot of power and attack is lost when we take that out. Do you feel like that as well?
Yep,
Cool.
exactly.
So for this bass tone, we'll have a little bit higher. And now 8K, that's going to be your real high end. That's going to be where all your high pops and stuff is going to come from. And also the high end of the low end, essentially. So the lower string will have high end to it. And if you want that to come through, then you crank it up. So let's see what it's like cranked up.
Oh, here we go. That's your Iron Maiden territory there. See, now I think that's too much for a slap tone. Okay, but if you go in for the whole, if you know it is Steve Harris, Iron Maiden sort of thing, perfect.
Let's try the other side. Let's try absolutely none of it.
Phone's got storage now.
Yay, my phone's got storage now. That's awesome. Okay. So yeah, as we were speaking about, so obviously you just played that lick, and I would say that is better for like a jazz or R&B bass setting because you don't want to be overpowering with your high end in that scenario. You want to be very low end based, and that just creates really smooth transitions along the fretboard. Like if you just run your finger like up the fretboard. As in, like, playing it. Like,
Oh, there we go.
It's just really smooth. Really smooth. Whereas if you were to do that with the high end up, it's very sharp, very cutting. So dependent on what kind of bass tone you want, you would adjust that accordingly. And then obviously you've got your volume, but you don't really need to be affecting that unless you're using it as a boost.
We don't need to hear anything.
No, we don't need to hear. And finally, the last thing that I wanted to put you through is, if for all the metal heads and rock heads out there, your distortion. So
Distorsione. There are specific bass distortions as well, isn't there?
Yes. So we've got 1, 2, 3.
Bass hammer.
So we've got 3 or 4 different ones that we can use. So I mean, let's try the black bass, because I feel like that's going to be based on like a dark glass type thing.
Let's get a bit of Lemmy on the go.
Yeah. Wow.
That's disgusting.
It's really, really horrible.
That's really horrible.
So, bass players, it is very important that you use a bass distortion if you want a distortion, and that's because of this one button here. That is called blend. So what that is going to do is that's going to blend your DI, or your normal bass tone, with the distortion. So, putting on the noise suppressor there. So, if we play now, if you just want to play something, Brandon. So
I am in tune. I thought I wasn't in tune.
I would personally have my blend about there. So
Yeah?
the main tone is coming through and the distortion is feeding it underneath, as opposed to the other way around. Let's take some high out of there, because that is very strong. And let's push a little bit more lows in there. So if you want to give that a little go. So that's a little bit of a smoother bass tone. Sounds a little bit better. And then you can obviously, from the last video, assign that using the patch settings. So if we head over to those. So you're going to go to control settings, control 1. We're going to move over to the distortion, press parameter on it, and then go back. And now we've got choice.
Nice.
Sorted. Now you've got the tools to build your own bass tone. Just get out there and build some bass tones. Right, see you in the next one. Bye. Go on. You've got to do the lick now.
I don't know what the lick was.
It was... That was close
I like
enough.
that one. That was good, yeah.